Did you hear about the attempted coup in Benin Republic? It's not just one country's problem. It's a warning sign for all of Africa. Democracy is in retreat. In the past couple of years, we've seen over 20 elections across the continent. But instead of seeing progress, we're seeing a rise in leaders who talk about democracy but act like dictators. The trust between the people and their governments is broken. The event, following a turbulent year of over 20 elections in 2024 and widespread unrest in 2025, is not an isolated incident. It's a critical symptom of a deeper decay, signaling a continental crisis where the very foundations of democratic rule are fracturing under the weight of ambition and power. The threat has evolved. We are no longer just watching for soldiers in the streets. We are witnessing the rise of the civilian coup. This is a more insidious takeover, where leaders like Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast and Faure of Togo dismantle democracy from within. They use constitutional coups, rewriting state laws and removing term limits to secure indefinite rule, all while hiding behind the thin veil of a democratic mandate. The ambition of these leaders is not just a political gain. It leaves a trail of broken trust and shattered hopes. At the heart of this breakdown are the referees of the democratic process. In nations like Tanzania, Mozambique, and Cameroon, trust has collapsed because the institutions meant to protect the vote electoral management bodies and judiciaries have been captured. Recent flawed elections in these countries have shown that they no longer serve the people but the incumbent. When the umpire plays for one team, the game is rigged, and the legitimacy of the entire system crumbles. This institutional failure has created a dangerous vacuum, and public sentiment is shifting to fill it. I always ask myself, where did Africa get it all wrong with democracy? It is a system meant to reflect the will of the people, yet that will is being systematically ignored. The frustration has become so profound that citizens are now looking for saviors outside the ballot box. A recent Afrobarometer survey confirms this alarming trend. 53% of African citizens now believe it is legitimate for the military to intervene when elected leaders abuse power. This is not a call for military rule. It is a desperate rejection of failing democratic systems. This crisis is amplified by the deafening silence of regional bodies. The African Union and ECOWAS are quick to condemn military takeovers, as seen with Nigeria's swift reaction to the Benin coup attempt. Yet, they form an incumbents club, turning a blind eye to the constitutional tampering and election rigging happening in civilian-led states. This hypocrisy fuels the crisis, sending a clear message that power, not principle, is what truly matters. Ultimately, democracy is losing its most vital constituency, the youth, because it has failed to deliver on its economic promise. Across Kenya and Nigeria, we see protests fueled by a simple, brutal reality. If the ballot box cannot put food on the table, it loses its meaning. Young Africans are increasingly willing to trade the illusion of a vote for the promise of stability and security, even if it comes from a military regime. To salvage what's left, the solution must be as aggressive as the problem. The African Union must also redefine its definition of a coup to include political rigging and constitutional manipulation. We need to fight to make our courts and electoral commissions truly independent, free from political control. Without these fundamental changes, we are not just witnessing a crisis. We are watching the slow, deliberate dismantling of democracy itself. We must save our democracy before it's too late.